What's up, everybody? We are here getting ready to go on another road trip, and I wanted to take you guys along. I've been meaning to show you a breakdown of my truck and what I do, but I wanted to start from the get-go. So right now, we have an empty bed of the truck. Got a few things I'm just starting to put in here. First off, when I start to pack up, you got to have the floor jack. That's just allowing you to be able to jack, the boat up, the truck, maybe make sure if you have a flat. Got to have this, got to have a four-way. So I already have that in the truck and put him in here. Another thing that I use a lot is another 12-volt battery. What this is for is, if I want to bring this in the hotel room and I use another extra power cord from Lowrance, I can sort of plan my day out a little bit utilizing that Lowrance unit, take it off the boat, plug it in. All I need is a power cord. It's going to have an automatic hookup to a GPS unit. It won't have it'll let you be able to scroll around and see what sort of the lake's looking like. You might have your Navionics card or your C-Maps card. So this is just sort of an overview. Just gives me a little extra power, and it gives me a backup in case my starting battery goes out or something. I have a backup. So it sort of works both. I bought these. I've never used them. It's just sort of like one of those things, which I always hate those guys that put their dang cones out 4 days before practice even starts. But every once in a while, you got to mark your spot, and this is more for DC and Connell to know, DC and Mark to know exactly where I'm at. Like, where this is my spot, get out of here. Now, normally what I'll do is I use these little bit bigger bins. So I have tons of tackle. I have obviously everything that I think is going to range from crankbaits to other little square bills, to, lipless crankbaits, to whatever I think this particular fishery is going to have. So I'll start over here on my wall with all my tackle over here. Some of this stuff I just can't bring all of it. It's just not going to happen. So I have a boat full of tackle, but then I also bring a couple tubs with just certain things. So I'll pull this one up. I got square bills, these are balsa square bills. I got extra props, ploppers. I basically everything that I think might potentially, a couple crankbaits from Mark. He gave me a couple of those. Just basically all the stuff that I think that I'm going to need for that particular event. And it's more just backup stuff more than anything. More than likely, I'm not going to really be digging into that, but it's just good to have. Another box. Jerk baits. This is just some toads, more top waters. Imagine that. Some crankbaits I might have in both. So don't know what I'm gonna have to deal with. Push them to the back. Okay, so this box is basically just backup props. I'll actually put some storage bags, battery tender, hub kit, Lowrance stuff power cords and fuses and stuff that I might use for my Lowrances. So this is just sort of a backup emergency box. I'll put them towards the front. That way it's sort of ready to roll. And I'll use this because it's not going to be completely full. I'll probably grab maybe one more prop, but it just depends on where I'm going. If I'm going to a big lake, I might have a 4-blade in there. Then I have the big waves. I have a 3-blade in there if I want to get speed. So just switching it up, definitely having a couple different props and having one of the boats, necessity. Alright, so this is basically just backup soft plastic. I got basically everything. Obviously, as a professional angler, we carry a lot of tackle. Obviously I have all my goon bait stuff, but other stuff as well. Just Sinkos and toads and bed fishing stuff and tubes. I mean, you just never know what you're gonna need. So I bring a lot. Hand pour worms. I mean, you bring as much as you possibly can, and what you really think you might potentially need, because in this format, when we go to these events, we can't borrow baits from other competitors. We can't get a bait. So it's really all on you. So it's even more important this year than it's ever been before, is to have your own tackle and have backup of stuff and have multiple things. So I want to be prepared as possible, ready to go, and know that if anything that goes on throughout the week, that I got it in the back of the truck. Now I have a box of just Guggen baits. This is actually just all the stuff that I have excess of. Now I have everything that, boxes of that stuff in the boat as well. Bandito bugs and Kraken craws and you know, Slim Shakes. All of those baits are in the boat, mono worms. But I want to have, you know, back stock. So if I need some June bug, bandito bugs, I can just go and I go through them in a full day. I can just go through there and just fill it back up. I personally like running them in boxes just for the small amount. You know, I think that obviously the clamshell, if you're carrying, you know, a couple of bags, the clamshell is awesome because you definitely do have the advantage of having your baits coming out perfect every single time. And then nothing's more irritating than buying a $5 bag of baits or $6 bag or $10 bag of worms, and they're all kinked up and messed up. It just sort of, you know, half of them you can really use and the other half are, you know, are junk. So with this, definitely, you know, if you're just carrying a handful around, carry them in the packages themselves, you'd be good to go. Grab an extra prop. Can't go wrong with some braids. They got basically 40, 50, 65, and 30-pound braids. That's the majority of what I use. Braid varies quite a bit, you know, with one thing that I really look at a lot of times when I'm throwing braids is, you know, if that lighter braid definitely casts farther. So if I can get away with a lighter braid, I try to do that like on top waters and stuff, but obviously getting around thicker vegetation, 50 and 65 tends to be better and my go-to. So I think we got that stuff knocked out. I got a kit. I got my chocks. Put that in this one as well. Now, this one we use quite a bit. Try to, not as much as I need to. Company out of Indianapolis, Indiana, where I grew up, Paul Browning, makes this stuff for bass and sabers. It's basically, obviously, it's self-explanatory. It's basically to help your boat. It's really, really, really important when you don't have a wrap to wipe down that fiberglass to protect it from UV rays, from fading, all of that stuff. So, you know, I always have a gallon of Bass Saver in the back of the truck, if not a couple. Actually, I need to stock up and grab another one, but that's just a necessity. Some microfiber towels to wipe everything down. These are just, these were obviously well used. And what we do with these, I'm just going to throw those away right now because we got plenty of microfiber towels. Oh, this is really heavy. My XD100, my Evinrude, just always having that full synthetic really keeps your motor running a lot better throughout the year. So no matter what motor you run, if it's not a 4-stroke, that full synthetic is where it's at. 100-foot extension cord, a backup 50-foot. There's no reason to put a 100-foot cord out there if I just got a 50-footer. So I'll put him up in here. Should put him back here for a second and hold him towards the back. One more prop. I'm messing around with my speed a little bit, trying to figure out which prop's perfect for this boat. Props are, if you're just a guy that likes to go out there every day and just go fishing and have a good time, you know, that's not a big deal. But, you know, you try to get the most out of your boat. When you buy a nice boat, you want to get the speed. And, you know, Tritons have a pretty awesome haul. They definitely have a lot of speed to them. So fully loaded this year, I've been getting about 72 to 73 with my Marshall in the boat. So that's really good. But I just like playing with props, playing with my jack plate. It's just something that gives me a little bit more, you know, and if I'm trying to race to a dang spot that's an obvious spot, you might be able to pass 4 or 5 guys that can make a big difference. So it is sunny outside right now. Not too worried about getting into too much rain, so we're just going to go ahead and take that sucker out. Random lid. Just slide him up in here if I can. Oh, once you get to this point, you sort of have to finagle a couple things. There we go. Him right there. Now, I have these little pickup vaults. These are pretty nice. And what I have in here, this always, you know, just sort of stays in the truck, is all the stuff that I feel like I need for if anything happens. You know, zip ties. These are always nice to have. A hammer, backup transducer, you know, a side scan, down scan transducer, screws, washers, backup reels, you know, backup spinning reel, bungee cords, I mean drill bits. I got shrink tubing. In the back of here I have a backup charger. So it's a 4-bank charger, so if something ever goes wrong, top of that, sort of a splitter. If you feel confident that you got enough power going through, and you can sort of split them. You know, you can't go wrong with a fuse pack. for your truck and for your boat. I think overall, you know, measuring tape, drill, full set, socket set. I'm set up there. Some random screwdrivers, backup transducer, a backup flashlight, some more stuff. Every once in a while, I'll throw some random stuff in here. This is like Lorraine stuff. So, I mean, a lot of different stuff. A ratchet strap, some toolbox buddy, which is like sort of WD-40, but it's like a Lucas Oil product. Some aux guards for connectivity and your electrical stuff. Wire cutters. So a lot of different stuff. So basically, this is my toolbox set. Try to keep them ready to roll. That way, if I ever have an issue, it's good to go. Then over here, this is all of my line. So I keep it sort of here. It's sort of a little bit of a mess because I've been going through some stuff. Suffolk has a brand new line out. This is, it's not out yet. This is the advanced fluorocarbon. This stuff I've been testing for the last about a year and a half, and it's phenomenal. So some of the stuff I do throw, but I've been messing with this advanced fluorocarbon. It's a lot more supple than the fluorocarbon that's out right now. So definitely something you're gonna want to pay attention to. If you see that stuff on the market, I'll tell you guys a little bit more about it when it gets closer. It's good stuff. So that's what they send me, sort of bulk spools right now before it gets to production. Obviously the advanced monofilament, this line is has low stretch. It's probably the lowest stretching monofilament out there on the market. Basically what this line is basically a monofilament that floats with the stretch of a fluorocarbon. Fluorocarbon doesn't stretch as nearly as much as monofilament a lot of times, depending on what fluorocarbon and monofilament you're using. But this line right here just has a little less stretch. So for my buzzbait, you guys ask me what I throw a lot of times. 20-pound Suffolk Advanced monofilament. This is like, it's the deal. The reason I throw this over braid sometimes, I can skip this so much easier. So fluorocarbon, monofilament, skips so much easier. Now I don't throw a 25-pound line on my buzzbait, but 17, 20, perfect diameter, and I could skip it so it comes off the reel so much smoother. I'm sure you guys have done this. When you're throwing braid, you make that cast and it cuts into itself, stops. It's the most irritating thing. But when I need no stretch, that's what I go to, is that braid. When I need just a little bit of stretch, but also make sure I can get in those tight areas, the advanced Suffolk fluorocarbon monofilament is the deal. Now there's a fluorocarbon, there is a monofilament, but that's sort of the deal. I have some titanium, some 832. This is like by far my favorite line for a spinning rod. This 8-pound Suffolk Nano Braid is just something that I'm just letting y'all know. If you get a chance to see this in the store, you pop into an academy and you see the Nano Braid. 8-pound, that's the key. Just pick one up and let me know what you think. It's phenomenal stuff. Thankfully, I don't have a ton of spinning rod tournaments, but I definitely need to order a few more of these. All right, y'all, let's go to the front of the truck. Almost done packing for the trip. Obviously have to have some clothes, and I already have a few in there, but have a little hanger back there. Makes life easy. Back here I have some just backup Wiley X sunglasses, some of my favorites. Just sort of have on the back of my seat, just to know that I have some Olakai flip-flops. These things, not sponsored by them, don't have a footwear company, but they're good. They're good flip-flops. They're comfy, ready to roll. Put the suitcase, try to put it in the seat. Check there. Okay, so get up in the front part of the truck. This is where I spend half my time traveling on the road, obviously. Thankfully I got Brody along with me sometimes, so we swap back and forth, but definitely having a comfortable seat, it's huge, okay? No doubt. Toyota's got some comfortable, a lot of leg room back there. Now, not so much right now, but you know, if I gotta take Mark or Connell, the Crew Max, phenomenal truck for taking your buddies around, hanging out, and having room in the back of the truck. The nav system's cool. The stereo system comes stock on this thing. It's pretty dang awesome. It's pretty good. I'm sure I could bump him up a little bit, but you know, for me, obviously music's important. So having something to keep you entertained, XM radio, just sort of it's a simple deal. Just pop it on, you know, listen to a couple of your favorite radio stations, and call it good. All right, going to the center compartment. First thing you're gonna see on top, some gloves. Still the springtime. There's some cold mornings. So having a good pair of gloves when you're running around, it just makes it a whole lot easier. Going second, you got some SD cards. You can't go wrong with some, just having a couple of backup SD cards, putting in the unit. You know, just, you know, whether it's Navionics cards, just some random cards that I've had throughout the years. Just you know, just a good way to store those. Phone case, this one's an older one. Just having something on your phone, you know, always protecting it. Deodorant, backup deodorant. Look, when you leave the house sometimes and you're rushing to the ramp and you get out there, it's one of those hot, steamy days, sometimes you forget the deodorant. Or, you know, say you need a little refresher, you got to meet the wife later on after being on the water all day. This sucker right here saved me several times. Little battery pack, just in case you need to grab it in the boat, already charged up. Backup kill switch, random, but, you know, hey, got him. Of course, Sharpies. You know, black, silver, ready to go. No matter what color you guys got, what color shirt or anything that you need, you know, somebody needs signed, got it taken care of. Some oil jacks, so like basically, obviously for your phone chargers. All right, and that's about it. You got all this stuff. You know, not a crazy amount, ton of stuff in the truck. Try to keep it pretty simple. Try to keep it less cluttered. Obviously, I have plenty of stuff in the back of the truck and the boat to take care of all that. So, inside the truck, we're done. Now we're moving out to the exterior of the truck. First off, have a pretty awesome grill, Toyota emblem up on front. You got the LEDs, you know, Firewire LEDs. The guys who actually hooked this truck up there in Indy. I mean, look at these things. I haven't used them yet, but they're pretty dang slick. Set the truck off, you know. Hey, I told them boys to set it up. They did a good job. I mean, heck, I didn't come up with that, but that was pretty dang cool. So in the back of the truck, you know, we got done up there in Indiana from Firewire. We got the road flares, or the tire flares, I think is what it's called. I'm not sure. The 35s. Got, you know, the fuel rims, which, you know, I love those rims. They're pretty solid. 35 general tire grabbers. These things are, you know, no matter where I need to go, if I need to go off-roading, if I need to pull that boat through somewhere, drop it in a little small river off the side of, you know, off the side of a little dang gravelly ramp, or whatever it is, I know I'm going to be able to pull my boat out, and that's what it's really important for. On top, you have a custom setup where you have the Firewire LEDs as well, but also you got this custom roof rack, and that sort of supports my big rod tubes. My rod tubes, pretty simple. On one side, I have my spinner rods from Duckett, and then I have on my other side, I have my bait casting stuff. So that way I can just sort of keep it open, keep it easy. Hold quite a few rods in those rod tubes. They're just, you know, some custom rod tubes that I had built. All right, that's about it for my Toyota Tundra. Guys, I really appreciate you watching. You know, when you're going out looking at a new truck, this thing gets me where I need to go. And you also got to think who supports the sport. No doubt Toyota supports our sport, looks out for us. So I try to support the companies, no matter who they are, that support our sport. You know, make sure to sub, make sure to like, make sure to comment on this post below. And also turn on your notifications. If you want to know what videos we have coming out soon, and you want to know when they come out fresh, make sure you have those notifications turned on. We'll see y'all next time.